So I finally broke down and installed some automation devices around my house. Did I do the right thing? Let's find out. What's up, guys? It's Josh back with another video, and I have another cybersecurity article that I want to show you guys. And like I said in the intro, I went on and installed some automation devices around my house. It took me a very long time to do this because I never wanted one of these big tech organizations devices within my house so they could potentially spy on me. I went on and went with the Google devices. For instance, I got the Nest Cam doorbell, as well as some Nest cameras around my house. And I also purchased the Nest display. It's like that big display, the assistant type thing that you can, speak to, tell it to turn on your lights and all that stuff or whatever. And it's super cool. It's super convenient to actually have one of those things. But today I wanted to kind of explore some of the issues that are starting to rise with a lot of these devices. And this is something I saw before. That's why it took me so long to actually purchase these devices and actually use them around my house, because they are super convenient, and that's kind of how they get you, but at the end of the day, you really don't have no control over those devices because the software and all that is owned by the company, and I'm sure they can use what's captured on those devices without your knowledge. And I wanted to cover an article that I thought was super cool. So let's just go down and get over to the article and we could talk about it. So this article is on the Incept, and it basically says Amazon admits giving Ring camera footage to police without a warrant or consent. And so this is, brings up a very controversial topic when it comes to these devices. Like I said, the footage, at the end of the day, whatever is recorded, you may not own this, 100%, or you really don't own it, because it's the software, which is used on those devices is owned by that organization, and whatever is captured on it, they can use however they see fit. And this reminds me of a conversation I was having, a while back on people that wear those smartwatches, how it gathers a lot of your health information, and Apple, has that information. They can know when you're sick before you even, go to the doctor or step foot in a doctor's office, based on the information they gather from those devices that you wear, on a daily basis. And it's like these companies are getting more and more invasive. At the end of the day, that's why I was real hesitant on getting those, devices around my house, because, they can basically see anything in your house at the end of the day. And I remember people, this was around when people were getting those Alexa devices, the Amazon Alexa, and people were making these videos talking about how Alexa is listening to you, or they'll ask Alexa, are you sending information to the, one of those 3-letter agencies, you know what I'm saying? And so it's always been that kind of controversy around these types of devices that you put in your home. But it says, in response to recent questions from Senator Ed Markey, Amazon states that it has provided police with user footage 11 times this year alone. So that's 2022. And who knows, how much they did last year. No one, as far as I know, no one actually looked into it. And a lot of people are getting these devices, especially since there have been a lot of break-ins and all that stuff. And that's kind of what took me over the line to go on and break down and get one. So I can see who's at my door before I actually, get to it. Whether I can go to my gun safe first, before I go to the door, or if I could just go straight to the door because it's an Amazon package. That's one of the reasons I broke down and purchased one. But it says Ring, Amazon's perennially controversial and police-friendly surveillance subsidiary, has long defended its cozy relationship with law enforcement by pointing out that cops can only get access to camera owners recording with the express permission or a court order. Yeah, and that's one thing with video, footage. You can go out and video in public, and you do not have to provide any type of recordings that you have, like during certain situations that have happened. People have recorded those situations or interactions with police or whatever, and then police will come up and say, hey, we need to get that footage. You don't have to give up that footage, in a lot of cases. I'm not saying 100% of the time, but majority of the time you don't have to give up that footage unless they have express permission from you, or they will have to go get a court order at the end of the day, because it's your device. Well, things are looking a little different when it comes to these Ring devices and different doorbell devices, because it's a billion-dollar company behind it. But it says, but in response to recent questions from Senator Ed Mackey from Massachusetts, the company states that it has provided police with user footage 11 times this year, along without either. And it says last month, Markey wrote to Amazon asking it to both clarify Ring ever expanding relationship with American police, who increasingly come to rely on the company growing residential surveillance dragnet, and to commit to the Rift police reform. In a July 1st response from Brian Huseman, Amazon Vice President of Public Policy, the company declined to permanently agree to any of them, including never accept financial contributions from police agencies, never allow immigration enforcement agencies to request Ring recordings, and never participate in police sting operations. Now it says, although Ring publicizes its policy of handing over camera footage only if the owner agrees or if judge signs a search warrant, the company says it only reserves that right to supply police with footage in emergencies, defined broadly as cases involving imminent danger or death or a serious physical injury to any person. And it says Markey had also asked Amazon to clarify what exactly constitutes such an emergency situation and how many times audiovisual surveillance data has been provided under such circumstances. It says Amazon declined to elaborate on how it defines those emergencies beyond imminent danger or death or serious physical injury, stating only that Ring makes a good faith determination whether the request meets the well-known standard. And Huseman noted that it has complied with 11 emergency requests this year alone, but did not provide details as to what the cases or Ring's good faith determination entailed. Now it says Ring's spokesperson Mia Nguyen also declined to reveal the substance of these emergency requests or the company's approval process. Matthew Goringlia, a police policy analyst with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, told The Intercept he encouraged any Ring owner concerned about warrantless access of their cameras to enable end-to-end encryption, an option the company declined to make the default settings after being urged to do so by Markey. I am disturbed that Ring continues to offer in any situation warrantless footage from users' device, despite the fact that, once again, police are not the customers for Ring. The people who buy the devices are the customers, and that's 100% right. I 100% agree with that. We are the customers of these devices, and what's gathered on these devices is owned by the customer at the end of the day, even though it's a fine line or a gray area in there, because like I said, at the end of the day, the operating system is officially owned by whatever company you actually purchase the device from. That's why they're responsible to keep it secure so no one can actually hack it and all that good stuff. So at the end of the day, they have full access on it, to make sure, they can keep it secure. But at the same time, they also have access to, the footage as well, at the end of the day, unless you turn on end-to-end encryption according to this. And now I don't have the Ring, cameras and all that stuff, so I don't know what their settings are. I have the Google one, and so I have end-to-end encryption set up on mine. But at the end of the day, I think they could still, get that information, especially since, when you plug these things up or when you turn them on, it needs the internet to work. And so it's connected over the internet. Unless you sit there with one of these cybersecurity tools that can look at the traffic coming from these devices over your network, I'm sure it's pinging back to, its home server somewhere in a Google data center or an Amazon data center. But let's read a little further on. But it says Guerrilla added that even though the emergency exception hypothetically might be warranted in the most dire circumstances, there will always be the risk of mission creep, a police abuse without any meaningful oversight. If there is the infrastructure, if there is the channel by which police can request footage without a warrant or consent of the user, under what circumstances they get it is out of our control. I worry that because it's decided by the police and by someone, at Ring, there will be a temptation to use that for increasingly less urgent situations. And that's true. If they have a way of actually getting it, or at least a process, then yeah, there is that temptation for them to use it, for other reasons, at the end of the day. It could be surveillance of, let's say, a neighbor or something. I mean, your camera, if they got crazy with it, your camera could be used to investigate, I don't know, your neighbor across the street or something, as part of an investigation. You know what I'm saying? But they still have those proper channels they have to follow. You know what I'm saying? Like, evidence can be thrown out, but still, it can be, used in some form or fashion, without your knowledge in any way. But it says, in a statement to The Intercept, Markey said that he believed Amazon and Ring have both lost the benefit of the doubt despite their purported good faith effort. I'm deeply concerned to learn that the company has repeatedly disclosed user recordings to law enforcement without requiring the user's permissions, the senator added. And it says this revelation is particularly troubling given that the company has previously admitted to having no policy that restricts how law enforcement can use Ring users' footage, no data security requirement for law enforcement entities that have users' footage, and no policy that prohibits law enforcement officers from keeping Ring users' footage forever. So yeah, that was an interesting article, man. And like I said, this is something we need to be a little bit aware of, and that's why I wanted to read this article for you guys, because I know a lot of people out there that are actually purchasing these things, because it's a lot of bad things going on in the US, and these are efficient tools, but at the end of the day, it can open up that chance for abuse, what I'm saying, especially from law enforcement or different agencies and all that stuff without your knowledge. What I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if they did it, once, it's nothing for them to actually do it again. And based on this article, they stated that they've done this 11 times. Based on whatever their policy is, maybe they need to explain that or put a clearer message out there on how they determine a reason for handing over this footage to, a law enforcement agency. I think it needs to be laid out a little better, in the public. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And like I always say, when it comes to these cybersecurity videos and privacy videos, this is something that you typically want to do, or while getting into the IT field, you want to stay on top of different things that are coming out in the media, current events. Because this will affect you, once you actually get into the tech field. What I'm saying? Even though this is something dealing with a consumer technology, at the end of the day, it's a IoT device, Internet of Things device, that a lot of cybersecurity, guys have to deal with, or have to, figure out how to secure. What I'm saying? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, I do have the membership turned on. You can, sign up for the membership. I got 4 different tiers, and it's there for you. I will put, start putting out more content under the membership. I have membership live streams that I'm going to start doing, monthly, where people can ask questions when it comes to Linux, as well as my Linux Plus course that should be coming out pretty soon for free. So again, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and of course, keep it techie.